So today, I wanted to just take the time and talk about sniper rifles in Warframe and how DE could implement the skill from Payday 2 called Graze into uh, Warframe. So, real quick recap of what Graze does in Payday 2. When it is aced, as you see on the screen right there, it basically gives the sniper rifles an AoE effect in a very small radius. So, how could this be implemented into Warframe? Well, pretty simply. It would be an arcane. I would not want it to be a mod. That's a little convoluted, and there really wouldn't be a whole lot of mod space for it anyway. So an arcane would be very, very elegant. Yeah, there would be some RNG of getting it, all of that to max it out. But simply put, the effect of the arcane in my mind, especially at max rank, would be upon headshot kill, 100% of the sniper rifle damage is released in an AoE effect, like an AoE explosion, a 3-meter diameter. Now, 3-meter diameter or 6-meter radius seems like either a lot or not enough, depending on who you talk to. Me personally, I think it'd be perfectly fine because it would be on headshot kill. It wouldn't have any, if you get a collateral double headshot kill, then you're going to get 2 spheres of AoE of the 100% of the damage of the sniper rifle. And this 100% damage would also count headshot multipliers, crits, all of that. The combo counter of the rifle. So everything would be factored into there. So, with this being said, what would the effect be? Like, how well would this be implemented? Would it be able to kill steel path enemies? If you get a headshot on one dude, can you kill a small group of steel path enemies? I say yes, because how I would want it is that it would basically treat that AoE explosion as a headshot and then some, just to make sure that you're not, leaving enemies with a sliver of life. But even if they do survive, they're not going to have a lot of HP, and they're going to be procced with whatever was on the rifle. So, yes, it would also take into account multi-shot, galvanized mods, Warframe buffs, everything. Everything would factor into the arcane. So, this arcane graze or arcane detonation would be extremely, extremely cool to have in Warframe. I really do like sniper rifles in Warframe. They're very powerful, but when you're dealing with a large horde of enemies, it's not very intuitive to, kill maybe 2 or 3 enemies in one shot. If you're able to AoE like you can in Payday 2 with the Graze skill, it makes sniper rifles so much more fun to use and a lot more satisfying. And so, what would be the secondary effects of this arcane? Well, I'm not entirely sure. It could be something as simple as bonus combo count per headshot, or just raw damage to the sniper rifle, give it a little bit more damage, even though that's not really necessary because snipers hit really hard, especially something like the Vectis Prime or Rubico Prime. All of that. And there could also be a version of this for semi-auto rifles like the Prisma Grenlock. Basically the same exact thing, just for non-sniper rifle weapons. I think that'd be kind of cool, to be honest. So Graze wouldn't just be implemented for snipers, but it would be implemented for all non-AoE weapons. Now, would that be very, very helpful on some weapons? Not really. On something like the Prisma Grenlock, it could be a lot of fun because that thing basically is a sniper rifle in terms of damage. And it is still a very, very strong weapon, but if it had that little bit of AoE that Graze gives in Payday 2, it'd be really, really fun. I'm not saying that non-AoE weapons are not fun. They are. It's just, it would be a lot more easy to use these weapons, and you would also see them a lot more. So, I don't really see many people running sniper rifles I don't. Most people that I've come across in random games are using like the Tenant Envoy, the Kuvazar, AoE weapons. And man, does it get boring to look at. Yes, another Mirage of the Envoy. You're so creative. So, with all that being said, this arcane would be an absolutely fantastic fit in Warframe. It would give sniper rifles the ability to take down hordes of enemies really quickly. It makes sniper rifles very, very, very satisfying to use because you'd fire one bullet and an entire hallway falls over, just like with Graze in Payday 2. Although Graze in Payday 2 has a much smaller diameter of the AoE, which makes sense when you go into the context of the game. The enemies, generally speaking, are not as tough, and the balancing is of course way different. I mean, they're completely different games. While Warframe has a lot of enemies thrown at you, especially in Steel Path, that are actually decently tough, in Payday 2, most of the enemies are just fodder FBI SWATs. Specials like cloakers, tasers, bulldozers, medics, they don't make up the vast majority. They're here every now and then. So, with that being said, Graze in Warframe could work extremely well if they implement it in this way. They could honestly make the AoE a little bit smaller and it wouldn't change all that much because enemies huddle up anyway in Warframe. And sniper rifles have punched through, so no real problem there. But, you know, I think I've mentioned this in another video a while ago that a Graze type effect would be good on sniper rifles. But, hey, I genuinely believe that. And I'm curious to know if you guys agree. If this sounds good, giving sniper rifles the ability to AoE. Now you might be thinking, what about the Comrex that already has an AoE? I don't know. Yes, it does have an AoE, but only its secondary zoom function has an AoE. So disable it for the secondary and enable it for the primary? Maybe? I don't know. That's a bit of an odd one. The Comrex is a bit of an odd one. Same thing with the Sporthrix. Both of those are technically AoE weapons. So, but I'm mostly just genuinely speaking about like the Vectis Primes, the Rubico Primes, Volcar Wraiths, all these non-AoE rifles. So, let me know what you think about this. I think it would be a very good fit in the game. It would be a lot of fun, very satisfying. And so, Graze in Warframe. It could work, and it could be fun. So thank you guys so much for watching, and remember, in Drillby, we trust.